In this episode, our guest is Brushy, and she's on a special and dangerous mission to observe the universe with an artist's eye.
She's from the planet Canvassian, where nearly anything they paint becomes so real you can touch it.
So roll up your towel into a pillow, lean back, and
prepare to learn about mind files and why escorts must be compliant.
Shut up and sit down.
welcome back to Hitchhikers and Appetizers, coming to you from Millyways, and even more specifically, Booth 42. I am your host, Trellis Gardeen, and with me always is...
I am always here and with you, Horatio Zinn, at your service, and here to eat the leftovers off your plate.
Leftovers? Wait, I don't. Maybe it's me.
Yes?
But I think with each guest, the proper etiquette or respectful thing to do would be to order new appetizers.
Yeah, well, they are on the way. Should we wait until the guest makes a selection about what appetizers they would like? Or is this all about us?
I think they can add on to what we've already ordered.
Oh, very good.
But I think the table itself should be clear.
Oh!
So it's like a new slate, a new beginning.
I become fearful if there's not a speck of food on the table. Even for a second, because I think, what if that was the end?
The end of the universe and the end of the food?
Because I only have enough fat to keep me going for another century or so.
That sounds about accurate. But you know what else is going to keep us going? Our new guest.
What? Oh my, I there's a guest right here.
Yes.
And sometimes I try to make myself not think about it because I want to be surprised. And then I'm surprised that there's someone sitting next to me. Hello.
Please introduce yourself to our audience.
Hello, thank you for having me. Thank you. My name is Brushy.
Brushy.
And I am
Brushy.
so excited to be here in this booth.
Ooh.
I come from Canvassian.
Canvassian, yes.
Canvassian.
I am here on a special mission.
Oh, special. How special? What kind of special are we talking about? Special dangerous or special?
Yes, it's dangerous, and I'm here to observe with an artist's eye.
Ooh, art is the deadliest art of all.
Yes, it is.
And I have, in the past, posed for some art school students. So, should you need a subject, look no further.
Thank you.
Actually, you might want to look further at his portfolio before you agree right away.
Here's how I operate.
Oh, yes.
I have already taken a picture of both of you fully in three-dimensional, and I've stored you in my mind file. For when I go home to Canvassian, I may or may not paint you.
Oh.
I'm impressed that you're able to store a full image of me in your mind file. At high res, or is it at low res?
Oh, please. It is the highest res of all. It is a binary situation no one can imagine except those of us on Canvassian.
Oh.
We travel, gather, come home, and create.
Ooh. I like the order in which you do that.
Yes, well, it's an important order.
Yes.
You think you're here to learn about me. I'm gathering, storing.
Oh, all the time.
Nice.
Buffering.
Buffering.
Is that what the little symbol on your forehead that's circling, is that an indication of loading?
Yes, and what that's doing is it's allocating space on Canvassian for the latest creation. Canvassian is infinite canvases for painting. Infinite.
What is your medium? What do you see me being transferred into art?
Well, definitely not charcoal.
No.
No.
Charcoal could not contain Trellis.
No. Charcoal damages at the slightest smudge if a human comes near it.
I refuse to be besmudged.
You are a permanent oil.
Ooh, a permanent oil.
I like the sound of that, because we do have a lot of oils that come with our appetizers for dipping.
Yes. Now you might want to consider a medium where you can make changes on top.
You could take some home with you and immortalize me.
I will take this saffron oil. I'm taking it with me.
You are the expert. I don't want to push a medium on you that you find is not the right medium. So.
Oh, that's why I'm here. And Canvassian, we take in the junk drawer of ideas. And we apply it when we get home, and we never say no to other planets' ideas. But when we get to Canvassian, we decide what suits the urge.
That makes sense. Someone has to be the final arbiter of that, and it might as well be the person who's enjoying it, using it on a daily basis.
When I paint you, I shall call it Final Arbiter.
Ooh, final. Oh, I like that. I like that.
It could be a series, though, of Final Arbiter 1, Final Arbiter 2.
Well, it's semi-final arbiter, almost final arbiter, maybe final arbiter.
And just to hedge your bets, how about the never-ending arbiter?
Yes, the never-ending arbiter.
I've already got a song in my head for that.
Now, in my head, though, when I think arbiter, I think someone who's willing to make a sound judgment.
Yes.
And that's definitely not something that I would say goes with Horatio.
Oh, no. No, but I like the title.
Unless it's involved dipping sauces, because he is a dipping sauce aficionado.
Oftentimes the final decision of the dipping sauce is this accidentally tipping them into each other, and that's how I decide they're all together.
Art is to be eaten and consumed.
Everything, well, not everything, but let's just say, generally speaking, everything is to be eaten.
I am ecstatic that you're open to the ways of Canvassian.
I am just the tip of the iceberg with Canvassian, and I am enjoying it. I'm warming to it. I hate to be warming to the iceberg because that might destroy the iceberg.
You know, but on Canvassian, when we destroy something, we simply repaint it.
Oh.
It's the one place matter can be destroyed and recreated. We simply repaint it.
That's brilliant.
If we want something again, if I wanted a different dipping sauce, I paint it.
Painting a dipping sauce, how lovely.
And then it becomes real.
This is like 3D printing, but with brushes.
That's it. You've described my entire way of being on my planet. It's 3D printing with brushes.
That's beautiful.
Has any of your art ever turned on you after it came to life?
Of course you're going to ask that, Trellis.
It is a very serious topic that we discuss, and what we paint when we see soldiers coming at us, we paint more superior soldiers. We have yet to outpaint ourselves.
You haven't painted yourself into a corner, is what you're saying.
Or you could. Don't limit her.
I didn't limit her. What are you talking about, Horatio?
No, if she wants to paint herself into a corner, I think that she is perfectly capable.
Oh, yeah, okay.
But you see, the great thing about Canvassian is we can paint a little mouse store in the corner and run through it.
Brilliant. I love that.
I would think the situations would be ripe for a lot of hijinks if people could just paint mouse holes in the ground for people to fall through, mustaches on people's faces that are clearly not for their face type.
If you were you accidentally ran off of a cliff and you standing there running in midair as we do, and you look down, could you suddenly paint like an airplane underneath you or something?
Yes.
Wonderful.
Just the other day I painted a parasailer.
Oh.
And that's what I called it, a parasailer. I painted it, it had wings, and I floated to safety. At Canvassian, it keeps you on your toes.
Now, if one of us were to come to your planet, would we be able to do that? Is this a certain kind of brush, or is this a power that you have as a native Canvassian?
You get assigned a Canvassian escort, and the Canvassian escort paints whatever you think. Sadly, if you're not born and raised and you're not of genetic Canvassian material, you cannot paint anything yourself. However, you can be assigned a Canvassian that will do your paint bidding.
We can experience the result, but we can't generate it, is what you're saying.
Well, yes, exactly. But all you have to do is think it, and the Canvassian will paint for you. We're speed painters.
Ooh.
And what's embarrassing about that is sometimes you don't want your thoughts known.
It's like, can you change that? That's a bit more graphic than I was wanting.
Exactly. And the Canvassian we're trained to follow will do what your thoughts bid. Some Canvassians are not meant to be good escorts because they'll maybe make a prank, or they'll go too far, or they won't.
There's the hijinks.
Yes.
There's the hijinks.
Ensue. Yes.
The escorts must be compliant.
I'm going to write that down. Escorts must be compliant.
You're paying the escorts, so that you think they would do what you'd want them to do.
Well, on Canvassian, everyone who visits is a guest, and we put out a tip jar. We paint it. We paint a tip jar. The one thing we can't paint is currency.
And that's where the tourists come in.
I would paint myself a giant pool of money that I could swim in. Well, actually, Glandar's money is actually liquid. We use liquid currency.
Disgusting.
And I do swim.
It's disgusting.
Not a lot of people want to actually accept it as currency after I've been swimming in it, but still, nonetheless, I have experienced the joy of swimming in my money.
I'll paint myself a boat and float on it.
Oh, that would be lovely.
You know what? The other thing on Canvassian, we can't paint emotions.
Oh.
You can't paint money or emotions.
I'd say that's so sad, but you wouldn't be able to show that.
You have to express the emotion.
Well, you can paint something that evokes a feeling in someone, but you can't paint the actual love.
So you could paint a smile on someone's face, but it might just be floating there like it's not connected.
Right.
I would love to see you be able to bring your talents to other worlds.
Well, I would love that too. So far, Canvassian has been untransferable. Maybe you two need to come to Canvassian. I'll assign you compliant escorts.
Oh, yes.
And you can. We don't know why so far transferring the magic of Canvassian hasn't worked in another atmosphere.
That is disappointing because the table just over there was being really loud before, and if there's a group I want to paint that fall into a hole,
yes,
or I should say, a group that I'd want to paint a hole to fall into, it would be them.
Yes.
I want to paint them to look like comical, anthropomorphic animals playing cards. That would just be, nothing else, it would be different.
Well, if it's any consolation, I did take a 3-dimensional picture in my mind and put it in my mind buffer of that group of people, and when I go home to Canvassian, I'll paint them with clown noses.
Oh, that would be lovely.
That would completely ruin Phil's retirement party.
Yes, and that's really the point.
Like, I care that he spent 25 years at the same company, and now he's here being loud and obnoxious and ruining our show.
Does his fealty to his company disturb you, Trellis?
I've never been loyal to anything that long. This podcast is really like the longest I've been able to focus on anything.
No, he's talking about not the podcast in general, but this episode right now. It really, we don't know. He may get distracted any second now.
I am episode to episode. I'll wander around the gift shop for a bit.
He has to leave.
I have to leave, come back. Horatio has ordered some food. Or there's a guest here. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, let's take a jaunt down that road.
So on Canvassian, I should paint you heavy shoes.
Yes. Heavy, very good. Oh, you are very insightful.
Is that to symbolize me that I should stay put?
Staying put.
Would you be able to put the heavy shoes, you put them on Trellis so that he cannot roam?
Are they a boot? Are they laces? Are they snaps?
Yes, a boot, laces, and snaps.
Oh, both, so I can't get out of them.
They're heavy.
Could you paint him possibly one of those little play tables on wheels where it has lots of things to fiddle about with, and you strap him in and just... I would just think that would be comical.
I think that would be very fun.
And I'd like some dangly things to play with.
Yes.
I can paint anything. I can paint it except money or feelings.
Money or feelings.
Right. Now, is that everybody or is that just you?
No, it's all Canvassians. Every Canvassian is a version. We're waiting for the genetic mutant that can paint money or feelings, but it hasn't happened yet in our gene pool.
How does anybody pay for anything on your planet?
Yeah, yes.
You exchange art?
Yes, that's exactly what it's a barter system.
Oh.
So art is money. In a sense, you are painting money. You just didn't know it. Did I just blow your mind, Brushy? I just blew your mind.
My breathing system is weakening.
Here, have a mozzarella stick. Here.
With some sauce. Sauce stat.
Put it in my glork knot. I must tell you that my Canvassian elders told me on this journey I would learn a lesson larger than any canvas I've ever imagined.
They were right. I'm assuming this is the lesson, and this is a huge one.
If it's bigger than this, I can't handle it. This must be the lesson.
Because generally on a journey, if the first thing I find that might be the goal, I just stop with that.
I'm going to have to book an earlier ticket. I'm sorry to interrupt you, Horatio. I
Please,
have to earlier ticket back to Canvassian. Art is money.
You need something, perhaps a bag to breathe in?
I've always said that a journey of 1,000 steps could really be a lot shorter if you found what you were looking for on the first one.
Yes. And then you could save those steps for another journey if you want to go later.
Other short journeys.
Are you all right? Are you breathing?
Barely. I'm barely breathing. If only I could draw myself pure oxygen. I
don't have a bag.
Can't.
Here, breathe into this takeout container.
It smells like jalapenos.
Yes, that might help. If nothing else, that will clear your sinuses.
Do you have sinuses?
We could create sinuses on those who don't have them.
Thank you. I'm better now. I'm drawing a 3D picture of the lesson you've just given me.
Oh. Do you have the ability to paint pop-up book images?
Yes, I can paint anything on Canvasian.
I'm going there.
Are you just going to ask me? I've almost fainted.
Are you all right?
Are you just going to ask me, can you paint a soup can? Is that how you want to spend your time?
I live in the moment.
Horatio.
So yes.
Horatio, a little respect. Show some respect for the level of art being brought forth before you right now.
Do you have any of your paintings with you? Did you bring some portfolio?
Yes.
Can you mind project some, or did you actually bring them?
Yes, I need a paper plate, and I can mind project them on a round paper plate.
Ooh, fine, yes.
If this restaurant has a paper plate, I shall project some of my art, which I now realize is merely money.
I was trying to picture in my head of you when you said you realize your art is your money, and I was just trying to figure out how would you determine the value of each piece? Like, are some worth more than others?
Well, it's the value of the beholder at the moment.
That seems like a very volatile currency.
Well, it is, but it's worked so far. We all get what we want because one man's ceiling on Canvasian is another man's floor.
Mm-hmm.
Will this plate do? I found this paper plate for you in the gift shop.
Oh, yes.
Oh, that is not...
It's rotating and everything. Ooh.
And I can touch it. It's springy. How nice. I like that.
It's a sponge.
Lovely.
Is this a case of art imitating life or life imitating art?
Yes, I am a student of simple art.
I understand simple art much better than I do complex art. If anyone on your planet who does not paint realistically?
Yes.
And would the images confuse people?
No, because although it may confuse them, yes. However, some people prefer the non-photorealism. They prefer the abstract. Mm-hmm. We can make sculpture too.
Oh, I did not know this.
What do you prefer?
I like stone. Stone is good. They say the image or the piece is waiting inside the stone, and we help it emerge with our Canvasian tools.
You're freeing the image trapped within.
You're birthing your art in a way.
Yes. My middle name is Chisel. I'm Brushy Chisel.
Brushy Chisel.
Do you have a last name?
Yes.
Very good. Now...
No, the last name isn't Yes, Horatio.
Oh, what is the last name?
Brushy Chisel.
Oh, I think that's wonderful. I'm just trying to figure out the phonetic spelling for that one, as I write it here on my napkin in condiments.
And I don't think I could actually pronounce that with the hole in my tongue. It ruins any attempt for me to actually whistle.
He might actually make you think he's calling for someone else.
Right, and you have to be whole tongue to say my last name, not whole tongue.
Well placed. One of those jokes that in print will just slay them.
Now, I do have another question here. Now that we've discovered that art is money, this, as you put it, not me, I'm not saying it, mind-blowing
Prepare.
piece of information.
Yeah.
What sort of way would you honor the person who brought the idea home to the planet?
Trellis is talking about himself.
Yes, exactly.
Trellis wants credit.
Trellis wants a statue of himself, is essentially what it is.
Looking majestically off into an ocean, perhaps, on a cliff.
Perhaps a giant statue with its legs akimbo and you straddling two isthmus in a harbor or something like that.
That would be really nice.
Looking down on them as they enter. Nothing too imperious.
No. We're talking tasteful.
On Canvassian, we have yet to paint gods or goddesses. And my worry is once we begin creating the image of someone we revere, the entire structure of Canvassian will collapse.
I'm okay with that.
Trellis will take that risk.
Because if the whole planet collapses, the statue will still be there.
That is one of the provisos that Trellis has for any statues that are built of him on any other worlds, is that the statue will still stand after the planet is destroyed.
Mm-hmm.
What about the guilt on your immortal soul that you're responsible for collapsing Canvassian?
It goes away after a few appetizers, I'll be honest.
He can tap down his soul. His soul is very easily restrained.
Well, I must tell you what I'm learning in my journey so far, a first step of 1,000, and I'm going home soon, is maybe Canvassian's not so stable after all. Maybe I'm learning that
art is volatile.
Also, Trellis can collapse a society faster than anyone I know. He makes kings and he throws them into the dirt.
Canvassian is not special. It's just another one bites the dust, if you will.
I think it sounds special and wonderful.
But we don't know if that's going to happen.
Thank you.
Perhaps the statue will be the guiding force that Canvassian has been looking for up until this point.
I'm thinking of any art schools that I've seen around the galaxy. They usually have a quote that they adhere to. And maybe it's why we're not stable, is that we've never taken the risk to create and give credit to someone who's helped us, like Trellis. Maybe a Trellis sculpture is what Canvassian is. Can you give us a good quote I can put under the sculpture?
Sure.
What of your poems?
That's actually what I was thinking of. One of the existing ones or a new one?
Whatever fits. I'm going to put you on the spot and say whatever fits.
Let's see.
I wrote one while you're thinking.
Okay.
If it turns red, you should have fled. That's totally out of context. Totally out of context.
That was from another episode. And you're
Yes.
just lifting. You're plagiarizing yourself.
Yes, I am.
Which shows no originality in your art.
None at all.
Listen, I am working here. I'm here draining myself to create.
However, it doesn't take itself too seriously, and
No.
no art should. Like a true Canvassian.
Oh.
And you throw, if it's red, you should have fled out there?
Yes, it's the only poem I've written, Trellis.
I'm insulted. If I had a white glove, I'd slap you with it right now.
That sounds like a poem. If I had a white glove, I'd slap you right now.
There, yes.
That's perfect. And also, it's vague enough.
Yes, it's vague. It's open to interpretation.
It's vague, and it's open to the fact that, oh, we're collapsing. He slapped us with the white glove.
Right. And then on the back of the statue, in little teeny lettering written backwards, so you need a mirror, it's going to say, if it's red, you should have fled.
I want something that generations from now will be arguing about, perhaps going to war about.
Yes.
About disagreeing what it meant.
Is there nothing that says more honor than war?
No, arguing over a misinterpretation or a different interpretation of things is the ultimate compliment to an artist.
And how many duels was started with, if I had a white glove, is it slap you with it?
Yes, yes.
That sounds like a duel beginning.
The slap of duel.
I demand satisfaction.
We had a duel once here. It got rather messy because we dueled with squids and they were full of ink.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yes. You may see some. There's still a bit on the floor over there.
I took a picture of it. I'm going to paint it when I get home.
Oh, that would be lovely.
Although, am I going home to Canvassian? Can I return to an unstable planet who has misled me? There is money.
Who's going to make my statue?
Oh, I have to make your statue.
He makes a good point. It's all about him. His society collapsing. But what's really important is that Trellis get his statue.
A statue that's, how did you put it? Astride of an isthmus?
Astride an isthmus, legs akimbo.
So that all the boats can go under me?
Isn't it 2 isthmuses? That's what I put in my buffer. Maybe I'm wrong.
They can't see this, but I'm showing what I think it would look like. This is the isthmus down here. And this is no good for our listeners for me to do that because that doesn't.
You're going to have to make sure the 2 sides aren't level because my one leg is shorter than the other. And I would like to make sure the top of the statue does remain level.
Also, I think it would be most impressive if he had one leg up as if he was about to, like a starship captain about to say fire.
Yeah.
In my mind buffer, I saved this as Call Me Isthmus.
Called me Isthmus.
I like that because that way it can't be traced back to me.
Oh no, it's going to look just like you, Trellis.
Yeah, but it's a different name. It sounds like Trellis, Isthmus and Trellis, but my name's not on there. I can't actually really be blamed for it, can I?
I will personally pay for a nameplate to be put on there so everyone knows that it's you.
They say that the lessons you get on your journeys come from the most unexpected places and people. And that has certainly happened to me today.
Is this good? Is this good or bad? I can't tell if you're angry or just okay with this.
I am both angry and okay with it.
That's a good blend. Again, with like sauces, just mix them together until you find something that works.
It's like a date that you enjoy and hate at the same time.
Oh.
So a date.
You could say you've swiped right and left on us at the same time.
That's exactly right.
Both fingers going against each other at the same time.
Much like Trellis and Horatio.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
They canceled each other out, and then the potential date is still just sitting here on the screen looking at you, which could be considered art, if you will.
Ooh. I'm sorry I had to take a moment.
Trellis, you do deserve to have a statue.
That was more unexpected learning right there.
I had to stop and think, and also I had a bit of a gassy moment.
Oh.
No, nothing dangerous. Nothing dangerous.
There's nothing artful about that.
Oh, it depends. Depends on what emerges.
Oh, does your planet work in that sort of medium, like olfactory?
Yes, because an artist depends on all of our senses. We have 8 senses on Canvassian.
8 senses?
I was just thinking there should be an exhibit to Horatio. That's just a room that's black. And it just
for that output.
It just smells. And the title of it will be What Did Horatio Eat? And you just go in and
I'm envisioning it. It's in the buffer. I'll do it if I decide to go home to Canvassian.
I think you should, if only to make this happen. I don't know you. I don't want to tell you how to run your world, but I will. I think it's that you should do this. I think it's worth the risk.
To go home or to never go home?
To go home, because I want to visit there and I want to know someone there that I can visit.
And that could be a live interpretation for his room.
I will appear there and I will interpret the smells for them. I will tell them if they guess right or not.
I think that the younger Canvassian escorts would jump at the chance to go in the dark room and sniff and guess.
Exactly.
The young people love dark room sniffing and guessing. I think that's something that's true the universe over.
And aren't youth the same throughout the galaxy? Youth are the same.
Yes.
That could be an underground nightclub, too.
That's a whole other subject, youth on other planets. We should do a special expose.
That's going to be another episode, I think.
The adolescence of the universe.
So, it's that time. It's entry time.
I don't want this to end.
Well, but if it doesn't end, I don't get my statue. And that's important.
That's true. And I don't get my sniffy room.
And art must end. Yes, art needs an edit.
I thought art goes on forever.
Art needs an edit. Yes, sometimes it does. Sometimes art needs someone there to go, lights down, stop painting.
Someone needs a quick sweep edit.
Yes,
I've taken your paint.
That last brush stroke was perfect and capped everything off. Lights down. Yes.
Let's see, Canvassian. I'm opening it up here. I'm ready to type.
Oh yes, we got to make the entry. I like, this is a Trellis quote, but has any of your art turned against you?
Oh, I like that. Or how about this? How about Canvassian, art is money?
That's good.
That's the one that sends me.
Oh, I also like escorts must be compliant. I think that might bring a certain crowd to the planet.
We'll make that's a sub entry. Art is okay there. Art is money. Have that over. Escorts must be compliant and submit.
I like how easily that one is going to be misinterpreted by readers.
Oh yes.
That I enjoy that. They will just their eye will catch on the escorts must be compliant and forget about the rest.
Thank you for caring about Canvassian.
I like to at least pretend to care about everyone. I find pretending is the doorway to possibly caring.
Yes. And I'm going to pour a little salt out here and try to arrange it into something artful.
Pour some salt out. Yes.
Brushy, thank you so much for coming on. This has been fascinating.
This is wonderful. And of course, we'd love for you to come back.
Yes.
This is if you do leave, we want you to come back. If you stay here, then you can just drop by.
I'll drop by. I have a lot of thinking to do on my next 999 steps of this journey. You've given me food for thought. Mm-hmm. Thank you, Trellis and Horatio.
Excellent.
Good. And here's a takeout container of some food for your belly as well.
Thank you for joining us for Hitchhikers and Appetizers. And of course, special thanks goes to our guest, Brushy. I have been Trellis Gardeen.
And I continue to be Horatio Zinn. Until next time, keep your towels clean. And if you're pursued by kilo-zap-laden robots on wheels, there's a good chance they can't climb stairs. So don't panic. Everything you heard in this episode was improvised, but not everything improvised was heard. This episode of Hitchhikers and Appetizers featured the voice talents of Mike Gorgone as Trellis Gardeen, Bran Peacock as Horatio Zinn, and Liz Allen as Brushy. Finally, Hitchhikers and Appetizers is part of the Improv in Action Network. Check out other great improvised podcasts and projects at improvinaction.com. If you'd like to reach out to Trellis or Horatio, you can send electronic messages to them at our Galaxy address, hitchappspodcast@gmail.com. Or you can find them on Twitter with the handle hitchapps.
Shut up and sit down.